being a young man in Kansas City, having just graduated high school and figuring out, well, how do I connect with what I want to really do? I knew it was music. I played an event for the Mattie Rhodes Center, and through that I met the Chowdan family, and I also met Joe Faust that day, Jose Faust. It's funny, they used to call him Joe. I still sometimes say Joe Faust. He's Jose. But I met him, and he was doing an after-school program at the Mattie Rhodes Center, and I asked, can I please come volunteer? And John Fierro, the director, said, yeah, go for it. Come out. So I started playing music with these kids and realized quickly that they felt very disconnected from the whole Kansas City community, and they didn't even feel like music was something they could really do. And I don't mean like a career. I mean that it was. Is this culturally acceptable for me? Am I actually the kind of human being that's capable of learning music? It was all new.
Yeah,
and I couldn't believe how new it was. And in that, we thought, well, we should do something more. So the band got together, and we decided to ask the Mattie Rhodes Center, could we please start a music camp? And so now for 8 years, we've hosted a music camp here in the historic Northeast that is meant to ignite a passion for music. And we use songwriting as that. And we didn't know that at the beginning. That was kind of a mechanism that we figured out by survival. Like the first year, it was beautiful. We had 15 kids, and they were like all there to learn music. And then the second year, we had 40 kids, and some of them had just gotten dropped off because it was $25 for the whole week, and you got lunch. So we just had all these students, and all the teachers got together, and we're like, how do we have the kid who has been playing music for a long time, and the student who is excited to be here but has never touched an instrument, and the student who maybe has just dropped off? Which is, I'd rather have a kid be working here in a safe space than
than out doing whatever.
So how do we make this all work? We didn't go to school for this. This is not like we're not social workers. Like what do we do? So we thought, well, what about songwriting? What if we can make it so that everyone can participate in shaping the songs, and then we give them this like empowerment that at the end you have to perform the song we've created this week for your parents, and that instantly ask something more of the kids, because now the idea of turning the class into making a song about boogers didn't sound so good. If mom and grandma are going to have to
be there and hear it.
hear your booger song on Friday, it just eliminated all this other stuff.
Right.
And through this work, we realized that using arts as a way to empower young people, to teach them these other skill sets was really effective. And we decided to start a not-for-profit to expand on that work and to grow a youth songwriter program, but also to create the space for multiple disciplines of art to follow this model. And it's kind of a simple model. It's a model where kids come in, and based on interests, they can focus what part of the team they want to be in.
Okay.
And then by using the fact that you're creating this artwork, you're not learning a 100-year-old musical piece, which is a wonderful way to learn music.
Sure.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there's something different that happens when you're not learning a Bach piece for violin. You're also not learning how to play AC/DC on the guitar. You take the student and you say, you're learning these skills, and they might be the exact same skills you have to learn. You still turn on a metronome and do the same musical exercises you would have had to do.
Right.
Do, re, mi, fa. So you might be doing the same thing, but the mission is you're going to create your own work that talks about your perspective. What do you want to say to the world? And this is what we're going to be working on. That's why you have to learn do, re, mi. It's the same thing, but like it. And then once you can get that concept through to a young person, the fact that it's the pride of ownership, then all of a sudden it gives you the opportunity to really dig into some other soft skills. Obviously, working as a team, right? As the kids fall into different buckets. Okay, I want to be. It's the show's coming up on Friday. All right, I want to be part of the setup team. So you're learning how to wrap cables and how to connect things. Oh, I really definitely want to be one of the singers. Okay, well then we have the singing lesson over here. Oh, then we also need to figure out how to make a flyer for our event. So we need some graphic design people. And we have expanded that into something called the Rebel Song Academy. So Artist Mentorship is the organization. Our flagship program is using songwriting to develop these skills. And I remember the moment I realized we really had done something. It wasn't by the beauty of the kids' songs that was there, but it was when we were hosting a marketing class at Berkeley. And I had a young person, a student, call me and say, I'm so pissed. My dad got a flat tire. I can't make the marketing class. So you picture a teenager with punk rock T-shirt on and punk rock band hoodie and punk rock hairstyle.
Yeah.
And this is the music class where you're not going to touch an instrument. You're going to a corporate office. They sat in a boardroom. Had Barclay pitch them the same pitch they give to Payless Shoes or to Wingstop, except they removed. They usually use Nike as a brand example. They've changed it to Jay-Z so that it was more musical. Like, this is a great person, a great brand that is effective at marketing. And then the kids divided up into press release team, video editing team, graphic design team, and then came together and worked in a business setting. When you have a punk rock kid saying, "I am pissed, I can't
believe I can't get to this.
I can't believe I can't make it." That was the aha moment to say, okay, this is a model, and now we got to replicate it. So this fall, for those who are listening, this summer we have our music camp. We're hosting it at the Kansas City Museum. So it's the Rebel Song Academy's music camp. It's a 1-week camp, the last week of July 25th. You can sign up at artistmentorship.org. So click on the Rebel Song Academy, and there's all the workshops and the camp. You can sign up. In the fall, we have our elite program. That's from September to December, so 20 young songwriters. This is for the kids who really feel that songwriting is their thing. So the camp is more open. If you just want to dabble, you want to experiment, you want to just have fun for a week, come join us. This other program, we really want 20 young people who are committed to growing their talent as songwriters, and then we're going to give them amazing opportunities. We fly in our producer, Steve Berlin, who's done work with all kinds of artists. He's a multi-Grammy winner as a producer and musician. He plays in a band called Los Lobos. But he's been making music for 40 years. And he comes in to work with the kids. We also work with 90.9 The Bridge. So the recordings the kids make get played on the radio, on their local show. We also have them walk through how they function as a radio station. We have amazing artists come through and work with the kids. So this is an incredible program, and the signups will start in July for that. But all of this is at artistmentorship.org. And for those who listen to this who maybe you're not a kid, but maybe you have other resources. It could be your time, your talent, or if you're affluent, it could be your money to help us make this stuff happen. Please contact us at artistmentorship.org or through social media. We're easy to find. I'm easy to find. There's a lot we can do. Where we are headed is this year we have, for the first time, year-round programming, but it's in these small workshops and in this music camp and in the 3-month program. But I believe there can be, and there will be starting next year, this more dynamic and interactive program where kids can come in at the beginning of it, and they can go through beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses, and some of them can still do this more like specific programming. But all of it, the through line is this: if you're making your own work of art, and this is expressing your perspective, no matter the age or the quality of the art, that you get a different buy-in from the young person. And so then we utilize that to that inspiration, that commitment to inspire other kinds of learning that are just beneficial as a whole. And it's been some of the most beautiful stuff I've done. It's really fun to get on a stage and be a rock and roll artist.
Right.
This work is equally rewarding in a completely different way.
Awesome. That's great. I know there are a lot of different arts organizations that are reaching out to kids, because we know that it can be a hard thing getting kids into different programming for the summer, and then during the school year, kids aren't getting engaged in the way they want to be. And so having these kind of opportunities they're always so exciting to hear about, because then these kids are going out and they're making such incredible work and then going on to do even greater things. So I appreciate the work that you're doing. Kansas City for sure is appreciating what you're doing.
Thank you.
We'll be back. We're going to take a quick break. This is Core Conversations on One Kansas City Radio.
Don't need no palm trees to say this is paradise. Life is tricky like a paradise. Gonna live in the moment, gonna make it mine. Living my best life. Not gonna waste no time. In this moment, this emotion.
We're back on Core Conversations on One Kansas City Radio. So it's been kind of a very tumultuous couple weeks for a lot of different industries. The NBA just canceled its season. NCAA isn't having any fans at its games here in Kansas City. And for music, it's been a rough couple of weeks for sure. You want to tell us a little bit about what you guys have been through?
Well, it started with South by Southwest canceling, which we could not believe. This was a year that South by Southwest had really leaned in to be supportive of making movies, and we were going to do amazing showcases, including opening up for Jose Feliciano. He's a Latin music icon. Like the Feliz Navidad version that you've heard is his, like you know, when Paul McCartney did a Christmas song, or John Lennon, that's the equivalent of that.
Right.
So we were excited about that, and now we've had 2 festivals go away. I think maybe maybe 2 or 3. And we're looking into our touring. We have this big tour planned in May, and just the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but all signs say that things are going to get worse before it gets better. And that, for a musician nowadays, we haven't, as a society, we haven't agreed upon an economy that actually supports musicians creating recorded works.
Right.
All the musicians that I know of that make a living playing concerts. And I mean musicians with Grammys and with millions of followers. You don't monetize the recordings enough to pay your mortgage. So if you kind of have to close your doors as your bakery, and no longer bake bread, which is what is basically being asked of musicians to do, it can be very scary economically. Making movies in the immediate, I'm not 100% sure how we're going to overcome the economic blow that we have already been handed, and there's more coming. So,
right.
You know, I would ask for anybody listening, just keep that in mind as you think of musicians, and as you watch musicians try to innovate and come up with some creative way to survive this year. If you're in a position where your industry hasn't been affected, perhaps, you know, consider ways to contribute to this, all the folks, because I mean artists live so hand to mouth. There's no unemployment or often there's no fallback resources. It's all based on the work you're able to do. So that's the situation we are in, and you know, obviously, I think that this coronavirus is something that humans can overcome if we're all disciplined and work together. It doesn't seem like an unsurmountable feat. There's already countries that have gotten it under control and now are moving towards the next phases. So I feel confident in us as a people that we can do that, and it's just a matter of, you know, picking up the pieces of all the things that were disrupted through that process.
Right, yeah. Do you have any kind of tentative plans for what you're going to do during this time, where you're kind of...
Well, we're making a new album, so in a way it gives us the window of time to focus on that album, on making it, and really getting all the pieces in place for the recorded work. The beauty of that is that you're making music, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
The sad part is that, like, you're, you know, monetizing your recording at a percentage of a penny per stream.
Right.
Even if when you have 1 million streams of a song, it's not a livable amount of money. I mean, for people to I know this has been tried and true territory for many times, but we're about to hit 1 million streams on one of our tunes, and that's all fantastic. That's about $6,000.
Yeah.
And the amount of money, marketing dollars, recording the 8-person team that has to exist for a song to be made, the song's not really made any money yet.
Yeah.
It's still probably a lost ledger.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really kind of realize that. Now that, like, buying CDs isn't as popular and streaming is kind of your one way to, like, listen to artists' music, and in a way that's giving them money, I think people realize how kind of hard it is when that's someone's main revenue stream.
Yeah. Well, for the reality is, it's not, even for someone like Jay-Z, it's not his main revenue stream. Even with billions of streams. Yeah. Maybe there you are making a living, but for someone that's that famous, it's peanuts. Options. It's peanuts compared to the way they can make money elsewhere. Because so it may grow into enough money for it to be a viable part of your business, but percentage of your business is still the same. It's still 1/8 of your
Yeah.
business, or 1/16. I'm not sure exactly the number. But
Right. Yeah. So, I know looking at your guys' touring schedule, you guys were supposed to go to Panama to do some shows. I know that must be kind of heartbreaking not being able to go, but
Totally.
I understand that you've been